Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper Viperland, and I forgot that the place that we stopped had no background music, but that's just how things tend to go. Also, hey Grim, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland chat. We are back in Great Ace Attorney. We kind of quickly wrapped up, not quickly, stopped right after wrapping up the trial without going into the, oh hey, here's a bit that's still part of the trial, but afterwards, yeah, here we are. 20th February, 4:41 p.m., the attic room. So we're kind of in the post-trial bit. So this must be our new office, yes. Office. I rather like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? Also, anybody watching from the early parts, we have the OG papers back now. I finally dug them out. They were under... I started unpacking the Monster Hunter shelf, and they were under a lot of those. So the papers are here. No worse than they were for wear. They're crinkled. They're slightly torn at the edges, but whatever. It's the paper. The paper is back. The OG slapping paper. We have returned. We are now at full Phoenix Wright power. Our power as attorney has increased. I've thought about the idea of shuffling the other two that I was using temporarily into it, but I think I'm going to keep just these for now. You can see this, Cosmo. It's only a small step, but I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So my dear... Sorry, hold on. I gotta sit up straight for his voice. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Ah, casual. Okay. Ah, Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. He forces me to have better posture. It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it. Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. I have no recollection of what I voiced her as. I don't have so many voices. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsumi arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. I forgot he was coming too. Yeah. It is right after the case. Iris, you must let me help you. Alright then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Why do you have a gun? Why does the salad require a gun? Is that a salad gun? What is a salad gun? Splendid. So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? Very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Is that really something you should be laughing at? Also, I checked the trophies just because vaguely seeing how far along we are. The boat episode didn't count as like an episode, so we've wrapped episode 3, I think, of 5, unless I'm mistaken. Unless it just didn't give me the achievement yet, but I think that's how it goes. Those are precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. 5 in this game and 5 in the next one, which is all still, we're just going to roll straight through it. It's the same game. I mean, it's the same collection. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London. London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights is the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So once again, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London. If I had known that was the end of the scene, I would have... Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came. To lift the facade and see the true depths of the murk that lay behind it. Unless an achievement pops up here, it might actually. Then we might be 4 out of 5 for this game. Yep, never mind. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. So we're 4/5 of the way through this one. Which I guess means the next one is the last one of this game. But the collection is Great Ace 1 and 2, so we're just gonna go through. Don't you love it when I say something with conviction truth in my voice, and I'm proven wrong like minutes later. On camera, provably, definitively wrong. Don't you just love it? It's great. I love it. Yep, okay, I definitely could have just checked here, too. So I guess the boat one does count. Cool. I mean, it should. Alright. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. Tally-o. The Hound of the Baskervilles. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal had ever seen. Oh, well, goodbye.
It's coming! Sholmes's cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited, breathlessly, in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames.
It's a hell of a dog.
Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. "Look well, Wilson," Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. "For this is the diabolical hound of the Baskervilles."
Yep, he is a pup. Good or bad, I guess we'll find out. The first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. In that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country, and in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court, which was hardly surprising, of course. So I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. Yeah, but you're an amateur that beat the Reaper of the Bailey twice over. That's gotta count for something. Like, somebody must be like, he beat the unbeatable guy twice, consecutively. He, in fact, is batting 1,000 against that one guy. Somebody must notice that, but I guess not. So life in our little office was very quiet. It is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. 15th April, 9:13 a.m. Naruhodo's legal consultee. That's true. There is also no common sense in this universe at all. Especially not in courtrooms. That morning, especially not if you're the judge. I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Yes! Is it time to leave for the court already? Let me see. What case is it today? Do you have a case? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I? Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So shall we go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite? Yes! Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? Once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today? Here we go again. Yeah, she's acting weird. Hey, you okay? So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. It's if we weren't here to see you get a telegram. Sorry, but you're not going to get away with that. Well, didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. It was just a boring old telegram. That's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing. Promise that I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. Clearly having an impact. Suppose Soseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away. A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well. Something wrong? Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? I was just wondering, what might have become of Soseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all. He definitely would have died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Or CO2. Either or. Take it or leave it. He definitely was going to suffocate in that room with no windows, burning candles all night. He was absolutely going to die there. That's definitely what his fate was going to be. It's probably best that he left for a place that has air and windows. I mean, as regards to Lord Van Zieks, the Reaper? Yes, I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. Then they would have blamed it on the Reaper, of course, but, you know. Also, hey, sorry, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How you do? Hope your weekend's going well. It's almost over, but, you know, still. What is it this? Oh, man. Somehow I almost forgot that tomorrow's Monday. It's not bad. I don't dislike work, but man, do I like sleeping. What is it they say? That no one who stands on the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? The way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yes, but at least Soseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means... the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps. Even if that's the case, it's a little comfort. A terrible sense of foreboding. Almost like a chapter just started, with us in it. The final chapter of a game, no less. If the legends of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself. Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants. No, I don't think so. I wonder if Soseki survives because he was actually and truly innocent. Whereas our previous client, there were doubts. There were doubts. Just saying. We don't know for sure. There was the occasional doubt that he might have actually done the thing and gotten away with it. Whereas Soseki very clearly did not do that. 100% framed circumstance. Apparently, Lord Van Zieks hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter. Oh. Yes, since Soseki-san's trial, he's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all. Damn yawns. For several years. So it's just been me who's had to face him in recent spate of trials then. Just my luck. Yeah, but flip that around. You were so good at beating him that he quit again. Also, let's see if we can. Doesn't really matter too much. I wonder, luck doesn't come into it. Sorry? What was that? Oh, nothing. Never mind. Excuse me. That spade has been here since we started renting the place. Oh, that's not a spade, Naruhodo-san. It's a shovel. Isn't a spade just a smaller shovel? No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel. Ah, I see. I don't want to dig a hole for myself, so let's leave it. But who's going to say leave it at that? I mean, I always thought a spade was just a smaller shovel, but I don't know if there's more to it than that. It's spring at last and the weather is warmer now. I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Would you like some tea, Naruhodo-san? Thank you, Susato-san, but I'm alright for now. The green tea Susato-san makes for me from time to time and Iris' unique herbal infusions, this place is paradise for a true tea lover. Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment to British tea cakes, don't you think? I've been enjoying green tea more lately. I tend to bounce between green and black tea. Those tend to be my mainstays. But I do happen to have a large stockpile currently of uncaffeinated, or decaffeinated black tea. So that's what I've been drinking at night. Usually daytime, morning time, I've got some matcha green tea, which I use for my wake up. I was doing Earl Grey for the longest time, but I think black tea morning and night, every single day was like, I'm gonna mix this up a bit. Even though decaffeinated regular black tea and Earl Grey tea are definitely different flavors, they are still black tea at the end of the day. It took me a while to get used to the matcha, because you really have to pull it out of the water quickly. You can't let it steep too long or it gets super bitter. Which I didn't know. I'm used to oversteeping my tea all the time because I forget about it, which is normally okay. But the matcha green tea gets potent if you let it steep too long, so I've definitely gotten more in the habit of pulling that out a bit quicker. I've only been here in London for about 2 months, but my desk is starting to look a little messy already. You could tidy up once in a while. Kusada-san, I always say, making a mess is a small sacrifice to pay for being able to further your studies. Time spent tidying up is time you can't devote to the same cause. And time spent on ridiculous arguments is time that you could be better spent on some simple housework. She wins, but I'm supposed to be the lawyer here. Yeah, but your argument was flawed from the outgo. That's all part of the table, or from the get-go. Ah, tea set. So this is the tea set Mr. Sato-san brought with her from Japan. Let's hope she hasn't noticed me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it. It's just so bitter. Tea is a drink to be enjoyed, Naruhodo-san. You really don't have to force yourself to drink it if you know. I don't like to see you screw up your face so. I mean, I don't think sweetening your tea is a crime. This must be the telegram. That's it. No, you mustn't look at that. Not under any circumstance. Alright, I won't. Sorry, Naruhodo-san, but you can be very mischievous at times. Put the telegram away if you don't want people looking at it. Can we check the orange? No. We were rather lucky to find that old aquarium left behind here. The prawns were put in there and doing rather well, and the anemones too. It's a wonderful invention, isn't it? The sea, behind glass, inside your room. Another example of Great Britain's greatness. Having to clean it out and change the water isn't so great though, is it? Alright, guess just the door. You know, never seen inside your room there, Susato-san. Never even peeped inside. I should think so, too. The young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know. Whatever you say, young maiden. I'd say it's just a room, but also, I guess, good, don't peek in the room? It means a great deal to me, you know. That you cherish his armband so, and wear it each time you appear in court. Well, it's very important to me. It's what shows that I'm a lawyer. And whenever I wear it, I feel as though it gives me strength. Through Cosmo. I absolutely can't be without it, especially when I'm at a crucial point in trial. But just the other day, I noticed you were wearing it when we went to visit that park. Sometimes I forget to take it off. Yeah, now we should be able to move downstairs. Honestly, being down here definitely makes the upstairs room look less cluttered. Morning, Runo. Morning, Susie. What is that? That's definitely Sholmes practicing. Good morning, Iris. Iris? What is it, Runo? What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled. Ah, yes. You noticed that, you can't not. Hurley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems. Not even close. Poor guy. Hello. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Good morning. Good morning to die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Wow. Damn this blanched existence. All it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence. Oh yeah, nothing of importance. Just, everything sucks. Everything's terrible. It always will be, and I want to die. Also, I'm really bad at the violin. You know, nothing that matters. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee from me. It's not too much to ask. Oh, too much trouble. Meow. Kitty! Ah, with a tie. Oh look, it's Wagahai? Wagahai? Good morning, boy. Must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. But how did it get there? Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris. Would indeed be a fine day to die. I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk. Look at Mr. Sholmes' desk. It's completely clear. Isn't that enormous machine usually on it? We can never hope to understand what goes on in the great detective's mind, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite. It's scarily plausible, actually. So, for the clutter, there's surprisingly little you can look at. Fires burning comfortingly in the grate in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese banshee somehow. Oh, look at that photographic print of a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting. That's supposed to mean something to me? The woman? Oh. Examine the fireplace in Mr. Sholmes' suite whilst with Susato in episode 5. Oh. Okay. The woman. Looks like that huge metal chest is being used as a table for tea and coffee. Seems very sturdy, with an equally sturdy lock. Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't go around opening things. I always have to keep an eye on you, don't I? You're very mischievous. How did you come to that conclusion? Well, because we have to poke and prod everything. Otherwise, how are we going to, progress in the game? These are all mementos of Mr. Sholmes' past cases, I think. If he'd been involved in my case, I wonder if the beefsteak from La Carnival would have been displayed here. A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing men, a bust of Napoleon. Ah, what an enticing collection. Looks like an untidy assortment of junk to me, rather like what's on my own shelves. Well, you really ought to learn to keep your things in order, Mr. Naruhodo. No favoritism there at all. Not even a little. There's a whole lot of room down here. It's a charming little white shelf, full of charming little bottles too. But the contents of them aren't quite so charming, it seems. Science is the future, Mr. Naruhodo. You can't deny it. Saving my money so that I can buy some chemistry apparatuses as well. Law, chemistry, takedown throws. What diverse skills you boast, Miss Susato. As useful as they are, I'm not sure that my throwing skills are worthy of inclusion in that list. Why not? You're clearly really good at it. Iris' beautiful tea set is there on the table as usual. A cup of one of her special herbal blends always helps him to relax when I'm feeling the strain. The English pastime of tea has many similarities with our own tea ceremony custom, don't you think? The idea of hospitality behind it, that's the essence of tea. The essence of tea is hospitality. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing recently. There's paper already set up on the typewriter. Look, as if she's about to start. That reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel, Mr. Natsume was most impressed. Ah yes, Mr. Natsume. That's what I'll be doing too once I'm back in Japan, he said through tightly clenched fists and teeth. Well, guess I'll have to wait to see what his novel is. Probably it. Oh, so we can start the conversation here too. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new homeland. Oh yes, and I've become very attached to a little Waggy. It would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews are empty as the hearts of the muses. Wow. If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place. I expect he would have taken him if he could. But cats are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience. And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable. Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from? Oh, you noticed! You are observant, Runo! Look, I used this. It's my latest invention. Is that a gun that makes cat doors? Why is everything a gun? What is that? I call it the cat flipomat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats. That's right, you can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And you can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see. Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap? Well, yes, maybe, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door to our office upstairs, Iris. She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. You know, maybe. Yeah. Well. Wanting to die. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened? It used to be the case that in my hands, its violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its mellifluent tone would make flowers bloom. It would. But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? For hours I've bowed, for days even, through the night I have endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, lost. Brilliant, clear, unwavering tone. Gone forever, no more recitals of unbridled emotion. Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley? Don't worry, I'm sure it'll come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man. The next, they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh, dear. Ah, why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin from me, what is left for pity's sake? You know, all the detectiving, I guess. Deduction perhaps? Yeah, isn't that what you're known for? Also, get the drink set up now that we actually have some music and poster. I think I need more deduction. I put it off this weekend. I should have gone today. Today was nice weather-ish. Tomorrow's supposed to, I think, a little cooler, so tomorrow might be the smarter day. We'll see. I need just a few things. I can order some things from Amazon. I keep, like, got Amazon Prime right before I moved because I had to order a few things. And just every month it's come back up, I've always ordered enough things right now that I've needed that keeping Amazon Prime going is still worth it to me. But I'm still looking for excuses to drop it because, you know. But while I have it, there are some things that are actually cheaper to get on there, shipped to me. It's almost like I can wait a day or two, than it is to actually go to the store and buy them, which is crazy to me. Mind you, it wouldn't be if I had to pay shipping, so factor that in. Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk's rather empty today. Ah, well done, Mr. Sato. Your observational skills do you credit. Oh no, Mr. Sholmes. They pale into insignificance when compared to yours. You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you? You mean Hurley's great analytoscope? That's at Windy Banks now. Sorry? That Windy Bank? No, Windy Banks, the pawnbrokery. What? You mean you pawned that enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly. But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you. Dear madam, things are far from desperate. But the pawnbroker has a wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate? Making use of a pawnbroker is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. Is it? It doesn't sound ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh, let's understand exactly. What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks. Banks? Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they're able to trade happily through the week. And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London. And should they have no money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. But should they have money to spare? Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise. Oh, how ingenious. Whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windy Banks, you see. A pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain? Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley? It doesn't matter. The world is dead to me now. You know, sometimes you have a really bad day. What was that? Wagga High? Uh-oh. Just cat things. Though, usually sounds you hear more when you have two cats, but... What was that? Oh no. Wagga High is tangled up in your violet! Oh crap, yeah, that's bad. How did that... I think he thinks it's a toy. No, what's he doing to it? Dear, Mr. Sholmes' precious violin. Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than I am now. Jeez. So Sholmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives. Shall I, Hurley? Let the cat's reach if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. Oh, it's there. So this is the violin, is it? It's a Stradivarius. Oh, jeez. Really? Oh, that cat did actual damage to an actual expensive... Oh, crap. Well... I imagine they're less crazy expensive in this time. Closer to when they were made. I know that now those are, priceless pieces of art. So, you know, there's that. Sorry, thirsty. It hasn't been as warm lately, but I feel like I'm slacking on staying hydrated as much as I should. Which is my fault. One of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. Doesn't really look like anything special to me. Happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. Broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you. And until today it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there reason to live in a world devoid of music, to tolerate this blanched existence? No. There is none. Dramatic. Very dramatic. Mr. Sholmes? What, dear madam? What? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine. I can't listen to what you're saying. I'm too busy thinking about not being bored. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? Huh? What do you mean, Mr. Sutter? Oh, this is right. Yes. One of the wood is completely different. It's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before. Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this? Terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola. What? And he's dead. He's gone. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're right. You're right. Quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what, pray, is this piece of stringed flotsam? Well, that means just because it's not your prized instrument doesn't mean it's bad. Just because you suck at playing the viola doesn't mean that the viola is bad. It just means you suck at playing the viola. You're a violin player. It's fine. I can strum some chords on a guitar, but I'm sure if somebody handed me a ukulele, I'd be like, what the fuck do I do with this? Not your faithful performing partner, then? Ah, I see what must have happened. You do, Iris? This is just a simple mix-up. Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. Alright, well. What do you mean by a mix-up, Iris? Well, you see, this viola, I mean, was at Windybanks until last week. At the pawnbroker's. Not Mr. Sholmes' beloved musical partner. There's a proverb from the East, with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel. Yes, indeed. You sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hopes that it would experience personal growth? What a wonderful idea! Last week I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windybank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. My ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Pshaw, a fine state of affairs this is, and why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo. Never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time. No, they violaed you. You let these people in a courtroom? Only the greatest mind in video game history. I don't know. I don't know if I could call him the greatest mind in video game history, but considering how much I do love the Ace Attorney games and how much I really enjoyed Ghost Trick, he's up there. I mean, I know games are not simply the one person whose name is attached to them, generally speaking. There's a whole team of people, there's artists, there's animators, there's programmers, all doing a great job here. The animation is on point, the music's phenomenal, the localization is great, but you know, clearly, Shu Takumi's guy, right? Clearly, he did. It's cool. I keep hearing a beep occasionally, and I don't know whether it's my headphones trying to be like, hey, we're running low on power, even though I definitely charged them. Or if I'm going crazy like that cat meow that time. You know. Yoshi P, the sole developer for it. Exactly. I absolutely am guilty of it myself, and I'm trying to catch myself more often. Like, so many people go into making games, but it all generally gets attributed to one head person, generally. And a head person can make a huge amount of difference. Don't get me wrong. You can take the same team and giving them different direction will change the end product, absolutely. But still, you know. I think the best games are made when you have a great director with a team that they know and work well with and have worked with before. That tends to be the best of the best, the cream of the crop. But yeah. But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault. I mean, have you learned nothing of films? Come, Mr. Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect. Brushing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced? You must visit Mr. Windybank's brokery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes? Precisely, Mr. Susanoo, without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to press your eggs even more obtusely. Alright, say no more. Let's go then. Yeah. There is good that can come, absolutely, from being like the face of a game, a series, a successful product from the point of view of the higher-ups, absolutely. And clearly, the Final Fantasy XIV devs are doing a great job. Obviously. So even though apparently... Man, I'm upset that apparently Dawn Trail has the lowest Metacritic score of any Final Fantasy XIV expansion, barring 1.0. It's even lower than A Realm Reborn, and like... That's bullshit. Sorry. It is. A Realm Reborn was fine. It got me hooked in the game. There were definitely some good plot threads there. A Realm Reborn is a fine base game. Dawn Trail blows that out of the water. I just don't get the hatred for it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But I figured there'd be enough... I see enough love for it, too, that I figured it would even out. You know, I figured it would be somewhere in the Stormblood range. As, you know, something sandwiched between great stuff that tends to be slightly overlooked and looked down upon just because it's not as good as the things before and after it. Even though it's objectively still fine. I liked Stormblood. It's so weird to see people's expectations were too high. Why? We were promised a beach vacation and exploring with Wak Lamont. That is what we were promised. and maybe some future tech stuff, which we also got. I don't understand. I feel like I got more than I was promised. Do people just not like Wak Lamont? Are there people who don't like that style of character? They must exist, but I thought they would be in small numbers and too ashamed to show their faces in daylight. Which, to be fair, I wouldn't necessarily call Twitter daylight. There is that. There is that. And like, hey, if you hated Dawn Trail, fine. I'm not trying to change people's opinions. I'm confused by it. I don't see why it gets that much hate. I don't understand it. Which has nothing to do with the game we're currently playing, but the Yoshi P thing, it reminded me. But yeah, it is great to see when occasionally one person getting all the public credit can still help keep their team above water in this current day of gaming where ain't nobody sacred, ain't nobody protected, ain't nobody keeping their jobs, no matter how good the game they just made. So what if you just made what I hear was Destiny's biggest and best expansion? Screw it, Bungie's gonna fire a ton of people. So what if you made Hi-Fi Rush objectively the best-selling and most innovative game that your little studio has made at the time? We're gonna fire everyone. Even though I still liked Evil Within and Evil Within 2 a lot. I think those were really good. I get that those don't have the wider appeal that Hi-Fi Rush does, and going from that to Hi-Fi Rush only makes the Hi-Fi Rush seem even better. So anytime you can get one or two people getting all the credit using that to actually, like, well, in the context of Grim brought up that Yoshi P kinda ends up protecting his dev team, even though, is it depressing? I don't want to have more depressing Hi-Fi Rush news. He can overtake the game works. Oh! Well, damn. Well, damn. Alright. Honestly, Crane developers have been doing a lot better. A lot of stuff lately that is better embraced by the global market. Before things like Stellar Blade, which if I'm probably going to do another like best of video at the end of the year again, because I had a lot of fun making that. It's a bit of work, but like I had a lot of fun making it. It was nice to like reminisce and really pick and choose what I liked and narrow it down. Almost without doubt, that's going to be pretty high on my list. Like, I don't know if I'll have to sit at the end of the year and really ponder, but like, I don't think it beats, let's say, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Stellar Blade was really good. From a developer that was only known for the booty jiggling mobile gacha game before that. And Liza P was also a Korean developer. Before those games, most of what I knew for Korean developed games were either gacha games, which are popular but not my jam generally speaking, or Korean style MMOs, which again, popular, but just a smidge grindy for my general, like I used to play Korean MMOs. I just don't have the time for them now. I just don't. That's fine. But like that's really all I knew about Korean video game developers. They really are hitting bigger notes, aiming higher, and appealing to a wider market now, so cool. Tango Gameworks is fantastic, and they deserve to live on. They absolutely deserve to live on. I hope this partnership goes well for them. So thank you for the pointing me in that direction, Sora. But yeah, last I'll say before we go back to the game, I swear. I feel like big names like Yoshi P and maybe other... I don't know necessarily if Yoko Taro uses the same team all the time. But like Yoshi P, Yoko Taro, and while it's not a guy, it's a company, I feel like Vanillaware also holds down its fort as best it can, and it's a shame we have to rely on things like this. It's a shame that Yoshi P has to have that stress on top of the stress of continuing to make the game good, but like, it's nice when you can. It's still stupid that it has to. It's still stupid that so many people get fired all the time after making great games. When a studio closes because it makes terrible games, I understand. It's still potentially a loss, because what's a terrible game to me might be somebody's 10 out of 10 greatest game ever. Like, I don't play sports games. Don't give a damn about sports games at all. So what to me would be a sports game might be somebody's... that's the greatest thing they've ever played. So it's always sad, but let me just blow my nose. We'll get back to the game, I promise. Also, yay 14. I've almost got all my gatherers. Almost got all my gatherers maxed. Crafters are going. I've got blacksmith maxed, but that's the only one. And I'm slowly leveling warrior and having a good time doing it. Don't worry, Bruno. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later. Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like. I have never set foot inside of a pawn shop. They're everywhere. They're all over the place. I've never actually been inside one. So, not really a tangent or anything, just a statement. I guess I don't think we have anything else to talk about. Yep, we're moving. Hey-ho. New location has been added. Baker Street and Windy Banks Pawnbrokery. Can we go to just Baker Street? Not where we're supposed to go yet. Oh, well, there's the pawnbrokery. We'll move in. I'm sure we'll have an excuse to examine the street at some point. They wouldn't put it here if it wasn't going to be examined. 15th April, a Windy Banks Pawnbrokery. There sure do be a bunch of stuff. So this is a British pawnbrokery. Oh my, there are all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I've never laid eyes on before. Ah, Susato-san, and that spark of wonder in your eyes. You can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? I mean, I understand. There's a definite joy in going through shops with a varied inventory like that. Be it, let's say, a Goodwill, an antique store, presumably a pawnbroker. Again, I've never actually set foot in one, but I assume they deal in a wide variety of goods. There's always that thrill of, like, maybe you'll find something really special. Either, like, I know there are people who go to Goodwills just to try to, like, make a profit, but, like, maybe you find that something that's, like, perfect for you. Maybe you find that thing you've been looking for and you never could find it. It's always exciting. I get the impression you enjoy places like this. Yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me. Dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. Get dressed quick. We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure. Well, you're calling on matters of business. We can look at stuff around. Clearly Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging from the spark of fury in his eyes. Ah, Mr. Sholmes, sir, welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome? Well, yes, we are potential customers after all. We're disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Windybank of our ire. Come. The fight is afoot. Is it? I don't want to fight the shopkeep. Okay. What are you doing, my dear fellows? We are not here to browse for interesting curios. We've come to teach this broker a lesson. Oh, there are just so many fascinating items. So we'll have to talk to Mr. Windybank first. Okay, before we can explore in here. Gotcha. Okay. We'll talk to him first. Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes? This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windybank. The color of the wood is different. It has holes in it. It's not even the same size. Is he dancing? No, it's fisticuffs. It's fisticuffs, you know. Boxing. Street boxing. Also, he could be dancing. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, hey, not trash. You caught an actual fish. Worth a non-zero amount of gold. Congrats. Do you know what? Hold on. Let's see, What? Oh, because Ark got the really expensive thing. Okay, I was like, yeah. Still surprised I fished like once for a joke and that got like a shark. Yeah, the treasure chest was the big one. Alexander from Ark and Ramen. Yep, that would do it. That would do it. And cold crab cheese. A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes. I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me, an inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There's only one way to make amends. Oh, I thought he was gonna leave. Please don't. I shall have to take my own life. Even Sholmes is speechless. I don't think that will be necessary. Do you? If I may just say one thing before I... Oh. Yes? It was you, sir, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day. I believe. Sorry. As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, here it is. You did? And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May this guilt die with me. No, stop, my dear fellow. The fault is mine. He's also dead. He's like, oh, the guilt is yours? Then you take it. Whew. It would appear that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. DeBank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Herlock Sholmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? Yeah, I do believe you may be right, sir. It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I needn't remind you of the peculiar collection of items you've brought in through my door in the past. Oh, peculiar items? In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, the novels of Herlock Sholmes, or some such. Oh my, a new fully fledged novel! And unpublished! A story I've yet to read, you mean? Forgive me! Wait, before you die, you must tell me more. Not, don't die. Before you do, tell me about it. He's put the gun down, sir. I must know more. Tell me everything. Wow, so Sana-san is really fired up now. Is there really an unpublished story? Where did I put my... Under this very roof? Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while. Will you? Mr. Windybank. For just like that. 1 shilling, sir. Not a farthing more. Now this is something of very great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Herlock Sholmes, even. Sorry, don't sue. I beg your pardon, a manuscript. You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. What was that? As such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this. I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely. Of course, sir, of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you, on my life. It's all very strange. It sure is. I think the first time I went into a store and I had a mild complaint and the owner pulled out a gun and threatened to blow his brains out, I don't think I'd go back to that store. I think that would be the last time I would go within like a 5-block radius of that store. There's other pawnbrokers. You don't need to go to the guy who threatens to kill himself all the time and who definitely owns a gun. Not sure if the gun is to defend himself or to end himself. I wonder, can I ask you something? Gentleman from the east, I see. It's that sable suit. Suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull. Sorry? But for your splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, I must say. Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting. Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. Reddit said that pawnbrokeries are used rather like banks here in London. Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers... Wow, English. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you describe. Praise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure storage. If in that time they repay the original sum to me, plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned. But what happens if they don't pay you the money? Well, the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me. You can never sell items before the 2 months have passed then. That's right, ma'am, that's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense for me is to end it all. The very idea, Mr. Windybank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually. As the man who was telling us all it was a good day to die only this morning. Let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs. Oh, what sort of measures? I engineered a simple device which Mr. Windybank has installed here in his shop. I call it the Red-Handed Recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Windybank? What's that deep sigh about? Is that like a security camera? What on earth is a red-handed recorder? Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are two just below the ceiling. I see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device. Very astute. It is indeed a camera, furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. I mean, I guess that would stop somebody from stealing... Okay. Sure. I guess every half hour... Here, I have an example I can show you. Ah yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop counter. Developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces a crystal clear image even in darkness. Wow, you should absolutely sell that. Really? That's extraordinary. Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look. So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed. If it was on the half hour. Every half hour. But did you not say that the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals? Indeed, as you say, my dear madam. Then what if the incident were to occur in between times? One could only say that would be a cruel twist of fate. I must confess, your device has been giving me some cause for distress of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Windybank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. You must graciously place not one, but 2 cameras in my shop, after all. Which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. Not ideal. I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on an age where safety and security come at a price. Oh, heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Sholmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Windybank. Perhaps this might mark the end of this peculiar items you try to pop in, Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer. I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt. Fear not. Sorry? Only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed, unless you accidentally pulled the trigger while waving it around and shot someone else. That's not really what I meant. What if you needed it to defend the place? I don't know. What if... Fine. No more water. Tea's still left. Good day to you then, Mr. Windybank. It's been a pleasure as always. It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes. I feel like I bounced his voice around like 3 times during that. Whatever. So, Mr. Naruhodo. Now we can explore at last. Alright, well, let's do that. Look at that enormous ledger open on the counter there. Mr. Windybank is, if nothing else, very peculiar about recording the items he accepts. Particular, even. He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. This revolver here, he doesn't even keep it under the, like it's on the, sure, that's fine. Nothing bad will happen with that. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Windybank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with a speed belying his portly size. Oh, you don't mean he'd... blow his brains out, indeed, in recompense for his blunder. Oh my. But in any case, of course we would never do such a thing. How could he even suggest it? You thought we were going to steal stuff? No. Seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there. That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Windybank keeps articles that are currently in pawn. Ah, I see. There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any larcenous activity. Recommend it or not, it's not something I tend to do. There's but one key, and Mr. Windybank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Where he sleeps, he places it into a small pot, which he slides under his pillow. How on earth do you know about that, Mr. Sholmes? I'm a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain. Mr. Sholmes, a wonder. And the prime suspect of this pawnbrokery is ever burgled. Look at this. Look at this lovely big shiny box bee. That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country. Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? I forgot that they used to make, like, big discs that were for music boxes. Ah, what a sublime sound. I'm so used to the drum style. Like the music of angels. I've never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. It's a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played, as long as they're configured the right way and set to run at the same rotational speed as the current plate you have. So as long as they're of a standardized format, yeah. But if they're a little bigger, a little smaller, a little more spaced out, set to be played at like different speeds, it would sound weird. My goodness, what a simply delightful machine. Indeed, though their popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. What an assortment of things are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks, and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine. These are forfeited items, offered for sale by the pawnbroker. What does that really mean, though? When you pawn, or colloquially pop an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale at a price of his choosing. Oh yes, now you've explained it, I'm noticing little price tags and everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. A Freshers University uniform? Never! It embodies my student spirit. What do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? Seems to have 2 little windows for looking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is a stereoscope. Stereoscope. Fascinating. It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepiece and see for yourself. I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look. Just before you do, there's something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today. Alright then, going to try it. Ah! Mr. Naruto, you must see! At once! Oh, alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed? Like I'm trying to look at my own nose. It's probably meant for a small screen. I don't know if I can cross my eyes enough close enough to it. Yeah. Need a smaller... Oh, hold on. I've got OBS. Just slightly off. I used to be good at like magic eye stuff, but now my eyes rebel. Okay. Okay. What the? I don't believe it! It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it! Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They're often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them. Why? Why are the people meddling with such black magic? It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well... far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. Thanks. Really helpful. Oh. It's not that complicated. But, you know, it's fine. I say as somebody who probably couldn't astutely explain it quickly, so... On a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th April, today's date. Yes, not for sale, I must point out. An Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Windybank. Who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Well, when the agreed storage period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. Something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say. Oh yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job. Look at this, whatever could it be used for? I have no idea. Ah. There's a small catch just here, look! We're going to open it, aren't we? Oh my, that's amazing! It is some sort of spring-loaded mechanism, which we'll never manage to put back to the way it was before. What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. What? Only tuppence for it? That ain't fair, you know it. The article's barely worth a... The article's barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot offer more. Oh. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter. Come on, that can't be right. If you even add a proper butcher's at it? What? You all I need to see, young girl. Oh, hey. Wait, don't we know? Sure, I recognize her. Yes, it's the young lady from Mr. McGilden's trial 2 months ago. Excuse me. Yeah, she also had a gun. Everyone has a gun. Everything is gun. Gordon Bennett, you lot! Why? No. Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been well. He's loading her gun at you. What? You remember me then, do you? Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure. So, what are you doing here? Down and out like the rest of us? Nothing to eat? Come to pop that black weasel? Sorry, coat, have you? Weasel? What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Ah, good day. Unless I'm much mistaken, you would be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ah, Mr. Sholmes! Oh, that's why it's a gun. Because everything they make is a gun. And she stole it. Yeah. That would do it. So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article, and I shall negotiate with Mr. Windybank on your behalf. Oh, the other one. I don't need help from some stuck-up D. Get out of my business. Go on, I'll make trouble for you. As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence. Really done it. He's gone. Sorry, but as I said, there's really no room for negotiation here. What is that thing he has in his hand? What kind of metal disc? Oh, well. And you! Go on, leave me alone! Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend we aren't here. We shan't be offended by the slightest. Susanoo-san can really stand her ground when she wants to. Whatever. We didn't actually examine him. Mr. Windybank, what exactly is this metal disc that Miss Lestrade has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on its surface. This is a music disc, you see, but used inside a music box. A music box? What, you don't even know what a music box is? You Eastern lot ain't too savvy, eh? What a music box is, I've just never seen one of these discs before. The small protrusions in the metal disc encode a tune to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays. It's so incredible. Tell us, what tune is on this disc? Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. So many different types of music boxes, see. British made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for. Ah, I see. That's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should at a penny. A packet of lies! He told me he did. He said it was, well... He? Who? Never you mind. It just ain't right, that's all. That disc worth good money, I know it is. Then, you'll have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you? I mean, you could always pop it into that one and just see. It might not work, but it might. He's been in here before, of course. This little... Tatterdemalion? Tatterdemalion? Definitely no way a word I've heard before. I see. Brought some dubious articles or other with her every single time, I might add. Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, me. So, is there something dubious about this dish you brought in today? Well, if only it was that simple. Sorry, what do you mean? What she actually brought in was a storage ticket. Ah, storage ticket. So, Miss Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff what needs stored. Alright, yes, that's definitely dubious. The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight, but if she gave me the ticket for it, and repaid both the loan and the interest, I was obliged to return the article to her. But what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Windybank. The little scamp is wearing it, ma'am. The overcoat that she redeemed. Oh. What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does. So, what about the disc then? How does that come into all this? Ah, the disc is something else. New article to pawn, if the girl and I can agree on a price. I'm confused. I thought you said that Miss Lestrade brought in a storage ticket today. It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket, and the money owned on it, you say. For this heavy black coat, which you returned to her care as I'd understood it. That's right, yes. And rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little ragamuffin put the thing on, he went rifling through the pockets. Oh, you mean... What? Don't you know it's rude to stare, lady? Ah, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it? You mean this disc? Then yes, exactly, ma'am. And she immediately tried to pawn it. Quite a high price as well. This is all rather suspicious, I think. Give it up, I'm just trying to pawn something like anyone else would. Miss Lestrade, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me. Doesn't really appear to be your size. The old man! It's the old man's, ain't it? Or isn't it? Is it, Miss Lestrade? Yes, this is definitely all rather suspicious. Out of my way, please. Hello. Who is this picture postcard English gentleman? Good day to you, ladies, gentlemen. What's your problem, eh? There is no problem, so long as you remove yourself. The matter to discuss with the proprietor. Ah, and we're obviously getting in the way. I don't know why my nose itches tonight. In the butt. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve. Wow. Look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. You think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line. Correct. Accurate. Well, you are an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket. Eh? Who are you? How do you know who I am? The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy to even remember the faces of your victims, it seems. What? You mean from you? Broker. Yes, sir. Believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes, the article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. Damn it, yawns. Oh my. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wasteful, and needless to say, any music box discs too. No, you can't have it. You just can't. The old man's, or it was. Now it's mine. Goodness, Mr. Naruhodo. This is a very awkward situation. Yes. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Miss Lestrade, is what the gentleman is saying. What do you think? It's all lies, ain't it? Obviously. I swear on my life, I ain't never laid eyes on that dandy before. Let's hear it now, you little ragamuffin. You stole it, didn't you? That ticket you brought in here just now. No, I swear it. I swear to God. Also, if she stole the ticket... If she stole... What? Where's her incentive to do that? Pickpockets, I get. Get why she'd be looking for money. Cool. Whatever. Separate topic. Why would she pick the pockets of somebody, find a redemption ticket, and go, I should spend my own hard-earned cash to redeem this ticket to get something back? Unless she, I mean, if it was actually her father's, like, clearly. But, like, if what he's saying is true, why would she do that? Like, there's no need. There's no reason. There's no... It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along the street minding my own business. And this little Schmetterling ran into me. I knew at once what had happened. Also, it doesn't quite look his style. But you can have more than one style if you're a real human being and not a fictional character. I've been robbed yet again, I thought to myself. These wretched pickpockets. Yet again. Oh yes, as you can see, I am a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time that I've been targeted by these back-slum scoundrels. Now then, relinquish my overcoat. I like the implication that every, man who's trying to be slightly fancy in London, all JoJo pose. Urgh. Come along now, Miss Lestrade. Give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, I shall have no choice but to call the police. Hold on, why does everyone think it's me? Just look at this dandy coat. You think I'm the dodgy one? Sorry, but no one's going to believe you. Well, what about evidence? Yeah. Where's your evidence that I've stolen something, eh? Come on, let's see it. Oh, I have evidence, naturally. You what? Evidence that the article Miss Lestrade redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman. Of course, we need only consult Mr. Windybank's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the article in the first place. It's brilliant. So very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible. I never ask customers' names. It's a strict policy of mine. I mean, you know Sherlock Holmes, or Sherlock Holmes, but I suppose who doesn't? I'm sure whether you asked his name or not, he told you repeatedly. Every time, I'm pretty sure. But why not? Well now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. But many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity. Yes, I see. But then, how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it? Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir, might I trouble you for the watchword associated with the article in question? Of course, it's Professor. Yes, that's right. All the evidence we need. This gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt. Watchword, interesting. I mean, okay, if he's the rightful owner, bare minimum, he's got to give her back the money she spent to get it out of here. Because, I mean, you can't even really argue that she made an inconvenience to him. The guy at Windybank said it was due to be put up for sale at midnight tonight. So he was either willing to let the coat go, or he was on his way here today to pay the money. So, like, I don't know. I feel like she deserves the money back minimum, but I also think she ain't gonna do that. So, about these watchwords, Mr. Windybank. As I just explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why. Certain customers would like to keep their activities secret. It wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Sholmes now, was it? We detectives have no dark secrets, not at all. I mean, not even the dark secret of not realizing what you thought was a violin for weeks was a viola? That it was your fault? Yeah. Wait, did I read that one? Oh yeah. Yes, well, anyways, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. In many ways, it's like this secret combination of numbers used to unlock a vault. The date of deposit, description, and a watchword uniquely identify each item. And of course, then I give the storage ticket to the customer. When someone comes to redeem something, asks for the ticket and the watchword. And if that someone tells you the correct watchword, you return the article. That's right, sir, yes. Just as soon as the requisite fee is paid. I have supplied you with the information you require already, but for the avoidance of doubt, the article in question is an overcoat deposited 2 months ago on the 15th of February. With a watchword of Professor. All perfectly correct information, sir. But how? Really, this is beyond a joke now. There's no further room for doubt. I mean, doesn't look great for her. Excuse me, but who are you? One would expect the inquirer to introduce himself first. Clearly you are not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign to you. Sorry, yes, we're from the empires of Japan. We're studying here. Oh yes, Japan. I've heard talk of the place. Its inhabitants live on some fiery brown-colored soup, dressed up with exotic spices. Curry? You might be thinking of somewhere else. What was that theatrical gesticulation about? Yeah, I mean, he's wrong too, but... Perhaps. Anyway, if you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your name first, before inquiring about the name of another. Of course, yes. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, student of law, really. My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's assistant. I see. My name is Benedict. Yes, Eggert Benedict. Egg Benedict. Gotcha. Enchanté. He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is suspicious. Now, to the matter at hand. I gotta go turn on the AC. Another example of... Thought I could make it. What I need to do is just put batteries in the remote. I have a remote for the AC, so I could just hit it from here, but I haven't. We didn't have batteries, and now we do, but I haven't put them in the remote. So just 1 second. Just turn on the AC. It's hot. Should cool things off rather quickly. I hope. Let's see. Still got my tiny fan over here. This thing. I always keep this over here in the summer. It's just a tiny little, tiny fan. But usually it helps a bunch, but it's just hot air. You know, that doesn't help any. A breeze is nice. A hot breeze is less helpful. I didn't think somebody would out-animate Sholmes in this game, but here we are. He may have more wild... he's up there with Sholmes. I don't know if he beats him. My overcoat. Return it at once to someone with the style to carry it off. Every move he makes, every breath he takes. Can't stand watching him. Yes. I suppose... Yes. I think it looks better on her. It also breaks up his, like, all-white vibe. So, let that be an end to the matter. Did she get her money back? And thank you for your custom, Mr. Eggert Benedict, sir. With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back. Man, this is why I hate grown up. Just because I'm a diver, everyone thinks that makes me a liar. Contents of the coat pockets, if you please, broker. Of course, sir. Here is the disc for you. Just this one? Pardon, sir? I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another. Another disc. Oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir. That was what was deposited with me, was merely the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but it's completely unaware of it until now. Excuse me. So, Gutterling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, aren't you? Just hiccups and yawns tonight. Yes, eh? I don't know nothing about it. Very well. And I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute. That disc is mine. What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal! Oh my, yes. There's blood on the disc. Look at all those sharp little bumps. Man must have scratched his finger on them. Found it first, alright? I mean, belonged to my old man. They're not having it. Oh, you take it. Me? If I hang on to it, they'll have it off me again. So you keep hold of it. Miss Lestrade, why is this disc so important to her? Music box disc has been entered into the court record. Metal disc used to play music on a mechanical music box. A piece of music which remains unidentified is stored on the disc by means of small protrusion. You there, in the black library. Hand that disc to me at once, please. No, don't! He's lying! Grown-ups are all liars! What do I do now? How am I going to resolve this? Another way. And it's resolved. Look at that. Easy peasy. A sweet resolution. Alright, let's go actually see what we're doing. Mr. Winterbank is clearly at a loss here. We have to do something about this before he reaches for that revolver of his. Miss Lestrade is really looking daggers at that mysterious gentleman. We need to do something to calm things down before she loses control and attacks him again. His piercing eyes, he's clearly in no mood to talk. We have to do something quickly before this mysterious gentleman leaves to fetch the police or something. Mr. Sholmes, what are you examining with such keen interest there? It's to enjoy a bar of caramel, I see. I would like to enjoy a bar of caramel. I think I'm just hungry. I mean, I say, but I'm definitely hungry. So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lurk in the shadows. Cruelly ostracized as the rest of you partook in the jovial atmosphere of fellowship. I had nothing to occupy my mind, but was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So feigning mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place, whilst, as you shrewdly observed, gnawing on the only friend I have left, 7% solution of caramel. Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo? But how could you? I'm so lonely, so desperately lonely. Then, why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know. Yes, I overheard much of your conversation. Or rather, in my craving for human contact, my ears devoured every word that was uttered. You really were sad, weren't you? Poor Mr. Sholmes, I feel simply awful for you. It would seem that my inferences are correct. Oh, clearly you're not about to tell us that you solved the entire case once again. My dear madam, sometimes I wonder, were my genius for deduction to be commoditized? How much could I pawn it for? Seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration, but who knows if it will help to resolve the situation between Miss Lestrade and the mysterious gentleman. What's the right thing to do here? Yeah, I mean, obviously. You can't leave it. Well, Miss Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament. Where the blue blazes have you been, eh? Pardon? When a lady's in trouble, the true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away! Not an hour later! She killed him. He's dead. He is dead. Harsh, but true. And who, pray tell, are you? Mr. Egbert Benedict. I have in my eyes a veritable encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation, one you will orchestrate with intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions? How? It's not as wet as a hard-boiled egg. It seems that once again, Mr. Sholmes has made a flawless deduction. Just who do you think you are, sir? Ah yes, as I hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. So, shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Herlock Sholmes logic and reasoning spectacular. The Great Deduction. Topic 1. Mystery Man's Aim. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured into this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to the shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement from this very shop. Yet even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need of such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane which you unwittingly clutched to your person exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. Utter rot, I've had this cane for years. Contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule. The end of any walking cane would be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet, detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of this stick to be utterly bare. Therefore, there's only one conclusion. The rod that you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. Recoil, sir, is something wrong. And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer to the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. The moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. From the moment I saw your rod, I was aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle, mused I. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod... It's the broken handle of a shovel. What? Are you insane? Now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employ at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you have conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime. Yes. I mean, who wouldn't want to tunnel underneath a pawnbroker Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. You must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to have excavated the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel. What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose? Save for such a fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say? Oh, but there's ample reason. But you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. Let's consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. This letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. According to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewage works, beneath this shop runs a sewer that adjoins another one that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road. This madness has entered the sewer now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway that flows in the very close proximity to the great vault of this financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of the underground tunnels. Master plan! This man brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Quite serious. I consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago. I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea of what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know. Postcard of the Great Exhibition. I'm afraid you've quite lost me. Currently in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway. And the government has provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower, seen in, Final Fantasy. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank, on the other side of this road. Yes, the considerable crime you have been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of that bank, the special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that's top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please. It's out now, but... Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this pawnbroking puzzle. Mr. Sholmes? Well, Mr. Naruhodo? An impressively upbeat deduction for a detective racked with loneliness, would you not agree? Is it true what you said about the bank over the road and what it has in its vault? Indeed, a few know of its existence. It is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me, in the strictest confidence. But he just announced it to everyone here, rather loudly in fact. If it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it? There can be but one explanation for that. Clearly it is because the man is a criminal. What if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he is a criminal, as you said, buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does now that you've revealed the secret. Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Windybank will. He already has plenty of shovels here for all. On my life, I assure you I'm not so unscrupulous. Well, hopefully this has taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. One can never be sure that somebody's privy to secrets won't disclose them, and once the word is out, it's out. Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes. An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo. An excellent idea! Even he's just like, yeah, I wouldn't trust me with nothing. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, you know what to do, I'm sure. Yes, let's listen to that great deduction again. See if we can't massage it into shape. Very well then. Let us start once more from the beginning. Herlock Sholmes' magnificent logic and reasoning spectacular. Part 2. The part where we fix it. Or correct the course on it. Not because I think I'm going to get it wrong. Honestly, just saving because I realized we haven't since we started. So, yeah. So, let's get into call this pickpocket here. Definitely not the flyer, but let's see. So, by Mr. Sholmes' reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job so he could dig down through the floor. Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, would he? No, I think it's fair to say that his motives lie elsewhere. The question is, where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? That silk top hat is whiter than white. Only an English gentleman could hope to carry off something so bright. It looks so incongruous with the black overcoat, don't you think? Perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. But Mr. Naruhodo, I think you'd look very fetching in a white top hat. Well, you know, you might look rather incongruous with my black university's uniform, so... It could be the cane. Proper English gentleman's cane, isn't it? Look at the beautifully polished brass on the handle. Yes, but Mr. Sholmes is right. It's not the sort of handle you usually see in a cane. Perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. Perhaps you could adopt a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. It might rather suit you. Feeling I might argue with the sword around my waist. Oh, look at all the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here. Don't believe it. What is it? Listen to what it says. Name, Gina Lestrade. Height, 5'2". Green cap, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, ragged. A detailed description of Miss Lestrade. Goodness, it's even a sketch of her, hat and all. Though, if we showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure. Look, the details of the shop have been written down here too. Windbank's Pawnbrokery, Baker Street, redemption deadline, 15th April. Is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled on the back of that piece of paper? Info about Miss Lestrade.
Take that!
Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place? It's the info about Miss Lestrade. Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and sketch on the reverse side of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket Miss Lestrade and to Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery. You originally told us you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you. That, sir, is a thinly veiled lie. The information on the back of the flyer that led you here tonight. By which I mean... Here to Windybank's pawnbrokery, and today, the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you've written out to arrive. Ooh. You have gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit, Mr. Strong. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The game, you unwittingly put... Okay, so we're back on track. That game... Definitely that. What's a furl? A metal cap commonly found at the end of a cane, Mr. Narharder. Ah, the bit that makes a nice clacking sound on the pavement. Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on this cane. But it doesn't actually look broken, does it? No, it doesn't. The gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious. In other words, there's some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we didn't know. Stylish as it is, as it no doubt is, I don't think this white top hat suits the man, do you? No, not at all. The more I look at it, the more something strikes me as suspicious about it. I think perhaps, not so much that it strikes you as suspicious, but rather that the hat is just striking? I suppose you're probably right. Perhaps the hat isn't what we were looking for. Look here, Mrs. Hutter. There's some letters on the handle. Ah, yes. Those must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letters of their names. The collections would be HS. Right. Initials on this cane, obviously. Oh. AG. Why does it feel as though that's not quite right? Look here, Mr. Sato. There's some letters on the handle. Ah, yes, those must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letters of their names. So, Sherlock Holmes would be HS, you mean? How they did this. I meant to present it.
Take that!
Wrong button. Ah, hey, Pots. Welcome. Fairly early for an anime night, isn't it? Am I mistaken? But, yay, freedom. Huzzah. The contradiction to which you speak is, of course, the initialing. Most astute observation. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Hopefully it was a good movie, then. Yet in a most processive manner you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. Incontrovertible contradiction indeed, would you not agree? Very eye-popping. What did you want? No, you're wrong. This cane isn't. I said before that you had the cane for years. Ugh. But don't try to tell us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park. In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. Recoil, sir. There's something wrong. Okay, so we're back on very short walk. Not ringing even the slightest bit of bells, but what else is there? I don't end up watching a lot of anime movies, but I probably should. Oh, yeah, the style is immediately striking just from a short Google. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Was it good, besides the style? Oh yeah, so we got this bit. Yes. Get the bit we proved wrong. Very, yeah, it looks it. Like, even just a few screenshots, you can tell. Handles, yeah, we don't really like to conceal. Keep it in the riddle. Consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat, and now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him. We know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else he's told us is untrue. So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. Interesting. Okay. Gotcha. Interesting. Well, definitely not the same. When I think Chaos of Adolescence, wild visual style, I think Detention. What's the name of that game, right? The Korean horror game we played? That was Detention? Yes, it was. It's definitely not one-to-one, but that's the first thing that pops into my mind. Very abstract. Okay. Seems an interesting watch from the sound of it. Somehow, I mean, I don't think that's going to prove anything, but the seam on the shoulder there is coming apart. Look! So it is. You know, a moment ago when Mr. Benedict was surprised by something that was said, I thought I heard him make a rather strange noise. It sounded a bit like a tiny growl. I think it was probably the sound of the seam ripping open. Look closely, it does seem to be a very tight fit. Sleeves are stretched to bursting, and you wouldn't have a hope of fastening it in the front. If you were to run around in it, I'm sure the whole thing would fall apart. I'd like to see. Sorry? Now how can we make Mr. Benedict run around? I'm really giving this some thought. I'm gonna say that's probably the thing, right? The split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see? Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having forced it over your broad shoulders... wrong character. Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart. Our suspicions were aroused from the outset. And you so badly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. This catalog of untruths has all been for one very specific purpose. Also, Potts, do you believe that this man in white, well, he was in white before he put on the black overcoat, has animations absurd enough to rival Mr. Sholmes here? Do you believe? Do you believe? To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Windybank. Would you now? What really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. Half of his poses are JoJo poses. All of his motions are just extra for no reason, and it's great. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. We must expose the details of this elaborate crime. Okay, so we got the same one. You suggest that I, a gentleman, designed a wheeze to filch some tawdry article of pottage. Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper manner, using the watchword? Would you believe me now, Potts? Had I not been the one to deposit it in the first place? How could I possibly have known the relevant details? Yes, said Potts. Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you were only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider... Okay, yep. Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawn property of another. Hence it is revealed by the council note on the counter, which your eyes were... I mean, he's not Speedwagon, but he's also, clearly the bad guy in this situation. But, like, he's not Speedwagon. He seems to be... Yeah, no, it's Speedwagon. You're not wrong. Which definitely explains why he's a JoJo character. The direction of the deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think. There's no more talk of tunneling into the sewers. which is a pity, because it all sounded rather exciting. Anyway, can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword. Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Windybank would never allow you to redeem the article. Or, looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Windybank would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. The question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? I mean, I still don't like that there's just its gun out there. This is Mr. Windybank's gun. Oh, so we're in a pawn shop, Potts, because Holmes accidentally took a fiddle back instead of his violin when he came back to pick it up after pawning it. The pawnbroker's reaction to this mistake, which it turns out was all Sholmes's, of course, was to take his gun and threaten to make the ultimate sacrifice to make it right on more than one occasion in the conversation we had with him. So that's the type of pawn shop we're in. At the end, so free to whatever. Yes. Oh, free. Okay, gotcha. Free regarded to. Yes. Good. Then I mean, well, it's great to have you here. What are you doing? Get some sleep, please. Like, always great to have you here. Obviously, but like, look after yourself. Get that rest you haven't been getting, please. Do that. At your earliest convenience. Yes, the only one bullet, he said. It appears that being a pawnbroker is a very life or death profession. It might just be this particular establishment. So it's not the gun, but old lamp. No, it's probably the notelet. I mean, you do you, but definitely rest up when you can. Look at this, Mr. Sato. Ah, it appears to be a memo that Mr. Windybank has scribbled to himself. Let's see. What does it say? Oh, Professor. Mr. Windybank must make a note of the watchwords his customers give him right before their eyes. In an alarmingly clear script as well. Oh dear. I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see? Ah, yeah, it's gonna be the
Take that!
The method is revealed by the notelet on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whether a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the response uttered on a notelet he has on hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in this shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Windybank. When the diligent broker made a note of the watchword as is his common practice, you observed him writing the word Professor on the notelet besides the ledger. Oh, I'm pretty sure Potts saw already. Because Potts shared that link in the other Discord. So, I am fairly certain Potts is aware. But yeah, Hi-Fi Rush. Yeah. Like, big yay, actually yay, but we already had our entire tangent about it earlier, so just gonna give the 2 big thumbs up here and be like, yes, awesome, good, please. That, sir? Oh, was I wrong? Did you not? I only... Oh yeah, no. Yeah, you posted the Hi-Fi Rush news in the other Discord. So you've definitely seen it. And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawned article from the young Miss Lestrade. Master plan? Look at this man's animation! This brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from this pawnbroker? Are you quite serious? An ill-fitting overcoat just hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthwhile music box disc. But naturally you had a very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict? No idea what you're talking about. allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. Okay, so it's definitely not the postcard. The narrative has changed so much. The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets, which according to Mr. Windybank isn't even worth a penny. Yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why? I wonder if perhaps we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo. Could we? Really? I'll better have a thorough look through all the evidence we've collected so far. I mean, it's one thing. Ah. Yep, that might do it. Oh, it's a little scrap of paper stuck onto the reverse side of the disc. Look. A scribbled word and a scribbled word or two. It looks like somebody's name. Or McGilded. McGilded? It couldn't be. It is Mr. Naruhodo. Name I shall never forget, for as long as I live. But why? Why is his name on this? Music box disc's information has been updated.
Take that!
Music box discs. You see, this music box disc tells us all we need to know. What's that? On the back? It reads, for McGilded. Ah, Mr. Magnus McGilded, the unfortunate philanthropist who's perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his alone-mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, are you, or perhaps a subordinate? Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature, in fact. He was precisely the right size for that overcoat that you've squeezed yourself into. Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict, but the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today. Was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. He stayed standing. Shame. To acquire an item deposited by Mr. McGilded. Solved. Like, I point out Sholmes and this guy's animations, but like the whole game, it's just got really good animations, but some of them are a little more exaggerated. Well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances. Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind. Pray tell, Miss Usada. Well, according to what Mr. Windybank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the coat could have been redeemed, was it not? Yes, madam, that is correct. Today would be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited. Well, today is 15th April, so 2 months ago today would have been 15th February, sir. That's right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m., I see. What? But that suggests... Yes, 15th February. It's precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. Oh, man. His animations are so good. Every time he does this stupid boot, it's art. It's just art. He's that good. He's that good. 10:30 in the evening, precisely the time at which the terrible events were unfolding. Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. You are, of course, at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However... Oh. I must insist you hand over the music box disc. Now. It would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box. What do I do? You know what? Screw this guy. He won't shoot. There are some things a man must protect at all costs. This may well be one of those things. Then again, it may not. Oh! The pawnbroker gets a hold of it! Mr. Windybank! This is my shop. I can't allow any harm to come to my customers. If that were to happen, I should have to drink my own. See, it's really his go-to move. It's really all he's got.
This is my boomstick!
It's really the one move he's got. He's purposely loaded the pistol with only one bullet so he can only take his own life, and it can't be used to harm others. It's really just... I don't know, Potts. I don't know. At all. Mr. Windybank, no! Alright, that's enough. Oh, hey. It's Mr. Infinite Fish and Chips. Inspector Gregson. Inspector? That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines. We got here as fast as we could. Now, what's all this about, eh? Oh, praise be, you're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life in my very own establishment. It would seem you have the upper hand. You lot have got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy. He pulled a gun on us! That's not some petty argument. Petty? Mr. Windybank very nearly met with his end by his own hands, which he didn't have to. It's just... Yeah, by his own gun, as far as I can tell. Oh dear. And the whole of Britain could meet with its end. If I don't get to the bottom of this case I'm supposed to be working on. What? What on earth is that case, Inspector? Spare no detail, Gregson. I might have said a little too much. No matter. Nothing to do with you lot. Anyway, sir, you're gonna have to come with me down to the station. But of course, Inspector. There he goes! He's getting away! I mean, I know I've said spin to win plenty of times here, but I didn't think it would work to escape an entire pawnbroker filled with cops as you just twirl out. I love these games so much. Get after him, lads! Whistle the beat officer too, sir. I love these games so much. It sure did. It's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops around here recently. So we fitted emergency buttons underneath the counters for brokers to let us know when there's trouble. Inspector, I was very worried for a while. Very worried indeed. Now then, Mr. Permanently in mourning. Oh, yes? Everyone in the store comments on our black outfits. I'll be taking that whatever it is and McGilda's down to the yard, thank you very much. Hand it over. Oh, yes, of course. No, don't give it to him! It's mine, that is, mine! Sorry, miss. Anything belonging to McGilda has to be taken in as evidence now. Evidence? If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we had no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. And so, we handed Mr. McGilden's disc over to Inspector Gregson, and we were summarily toughed out of the shop and onto the street. We continued. Yeah, we'll save. I don't know if we'll make it to another save point tonight, but we'll go for a bit. Sure, there'll be some sort of logical ending spot. But it's too early now. 15th April, though it's not too early to blow my nose. #15th April, Baker Street. Ah, she did get her coat back. See, that's why I hate grown-ups. All they do is feed you a pack of lies and take stuff away from you. Oh, really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm? What? Oh my, surely you were given that. Yeah, but do you let me keep it? I've looked daggers at him for long enough. He went through the pockets and then said, go on then, have it, before telling me to scarp her. Always pays off giving people a look look like you ate them. That takes way more dexterity than it seems. Like, it's one of those things that looks easy-ish at first glance, but then you're like, wait, no, that's actually really hard. It would be a lot easier if I had access to bigger coins. Quarter's only so big. I think I actually have a $50 somewhere, but that might actually be too big. I think I have $1 somewhere. Well, I'd have dollar coins, but I think I have one of the old, big $50, so that would probably be too big. Fingers aren't that fat. Can't help feeling that it's going to get you into serious trouble one day. What I really wanted was that nice shiny disc, mind. Music box disc? Mr. Windybank said it was practically worthless. I think I'm gonna go and give another bash. Give him a long hard stare. I think not, Mr. Lestrade. We shan't enter Windybanks again today. Why not? It's not fair. Can't be helped, I'm afraid. Police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Windybank. The disc is mine. I had the ticket for this coat and it was on the coat's pocket. And there should be something else at all. That's what the Rotten Cove said, ain't it? Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he? Well then, that's mine too, whatever it is. Now she's really pushing her luck. Miss Lestrade, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for the day. Yeah, and it's all your fault, Sholmes. So what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening? Eh? This would be delighted to cook, I'm sure. I might entertain you with a modest violin recital. Nota, I mean... Hold on. I love it when small spiders descend from the ceiling right in front of me. I don't know why they always land on the microphone. I really don't. This is way, way not the first time this has happened. Give me 1 second. I have a door in my room. I'm gonna go drop this bugger outside. Be right back.
Tell me, for whom do you fight? How very glib. And do you believe in Eorzea? Eorzea's unity is forged of falsehoods. Its city-states are built on deceit, and its faith is an instrument of deception. It is not but a cobweb of lies. To believe in Eorzea is to believe in nothing.
Oh, yeah. I literally got up to put a spider outside. You didn't have to start Praetorium. I have a door in my room. It's right there. I just tossed it outside. Also, hey, Crescent, how's it going? Sorry, a spider literally came down from the ceiling, landed on my microphone, and started to go down towards my lap, so I just caught it in tissue and put it outside. I don't want to kill it. It was tiny, so it's not like it was really any harm to me. I just don't want spiders falling in front of my eyes, literally. If it had done it behind the monitor, I never would have noticed. But it's on my microphone. Oh? Why would I come around to your place, eh? You lost your head or something? And she's gone. Sort of fairy tale. This is the first time it's happened here. It used to happen in my old place frequently enough. Not like once a month, but enough that it was like, this is weirdly common. Oh dear, she's gone. Having reveled on my quite having revealed on me quite unnecessarily, I might add. I can't help wondering if perhaps she might turn up anyways. Interesting. I mean, if you're somebody who has to like scrape by picking pockets for money, a free meal is kind of hard to say no to. Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come. Very well then. I'll inform Iris to set a place for our potential guest at the dinner table this evening. One more thing. I should be glad of your company later too. Sorry? I believe I will have a rather splendid surprise to show you. Oh, exciting, what is it? Why would I tell you now? You shall have to wait and see, Mr. Sato. Until later then. Alright, we didn't actually look at the street before, so let's take a look now. Look at all the different things in the window of the shop. That's Windybanks, the pawnbrokery. Looks much smarter than pawnbrokers in Japan, doesn't it? Yes, you're right. I find pawn shops at home rather inapproachable, personally. Reminds me of tearfully parting with my favorite fountain pen. That's so miserable. Doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Mr. Naruhodo. Sometimes the loss of a pen. It's already been 2 months since we started taking lodgings here above Mr. Sholmes' office. Still can't quite believe it. Never expected things would turn out like this. Oh, I know. To actually be sharing accommodations with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself before a court of law now, I will have not one regret. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'd be happy to defend you, of course. Well, that's probably it for the street, yeah. Didn't imagine it would have much. April, 3:46 p.m. Sholmes' suite. Susie and Bruno, come in, come in. Good afternoon, Iris. I'm beginning to think the beeping I'm hearing is part of this scene, because I've only heard it in this area. I don't think it's my headphones dying. I think there's just a beep as part of the scene, or her, or something. Or I'm going crazy again, like the meowing. 50-50, honestly. Thank you so much for breakfast this morning. No, don't mention it. Goodness, look at the time already. Busy as always? I am. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening. Ready? You're obviously cooking something special, are you? Oh yes, after all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? Go on. You'll never guess. Look at those little eyes of hers shining. Oh, hi, it gone. Oh dear. It is awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it? It's Ginny! Isn't that exciting? Oh, what a surprise. Yes, that's wonderful news. Iris seems overjoyed at the idea. Can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional. Oh, yes, that does sound like fun. Not sure that's entirely appropriate. Are you, Mr. Naruhodo? By the way, Iris, what's Mr. Sholmes up to? Hardly. Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. I beg that you won't speak to me. Sorry? I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. As you can see, I'm not here. Sure, dude. I don't know how to respond to that. I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything. Yes, I see. Really, he behaves just like a child sometimes. Really does. Yeah, most of the times. Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they? The other way around, yeah. Yes, except that Iris is clearly the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are. What's the matter, Bruno? You have ever such a funny look on your face. Oh, no. It's nothing. What it is? How does this girl live here with Mr. Sholmes, you're wondering? Right? How did you... Yeah. Oh, Bruno, I can read you like a book. That's dangerous. Don't worry, you can ask me anything. I won't mind. Oh. You want to see if we can go bother her. So, Mr. Sholmes, what are you so engrossed in? Did you not hear? I'm not here! Of course you're not. Not think why the whole bed of the ocean is not one solid mass of oysters, so prolific the creatures seem. Ah, Don't even turn around and look at me. Best just to leave him alone when he's in one of his moods like this. Yes, I can see that. Oh hey, the actual violin. Now this really is Mr. Sholmes' faithful performing partner then. Radivar, the Scrappy Scar, the Scarparius. Nope, it's no good. It's gone. I mean, I know the feeling. Next time, I'm not here. Can't you see? The virtuoso's violin that he found in a pawnbroker's and managed to buy for next to nothing. After all we went through to get it back, he's just cast it aside on that chair. Just looking forward to hearing the beautiful sound it makes when Mr. Sholmes plays it. It does look rather sorry for itself there, doesn't it? Although, at least Wagahe hasn't attacked it yet, even if his eyes are saying it's only a matter of time. Oh yeah, we don't have the disc anymore. So, by Guinea, you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from the McGilded case 2 months ago, right? Yes, who also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although, after that trial, I invited her back here, and we had dinner together. And now we're the best of friends. Oh, what a lovely tale. Yes, now if I bump into her on the street, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh. I chase after her down the back alleys. Interesting idea of friendship. Then I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade I've developed. Oh. So many beautiful colors in the world. Ginny wants to make a whole rainbow. Suppose this means you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you? We know, we saw her loading it. Yes, that's right. Got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same way when I shoot him with it now. For Hurley. Can't wait for Ginny to arrive. It's been too long since she last came over. So excited. Just hope she doesn't actually come. She does actually come. I'm sure you've been wondering why it is that I live here with Hurley, haven't you? Well, it has crossed my mind, that and where are your real parents? My mommy and daddy aren't with me anymore. Mommy passed away when I was born. And around the same time, my father... Well, he had to go to a faraway land because of one of the cases he and Hurley were working on. Oh. Wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley? Yes. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mystery cases together. Mysterious cases. She didn't mention that before. He wrote them all up in his diaries. That's what's in the metal chest over there. Really? What are them all? So, you mean it's true, Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases. Oh yes, I mean, it's always nice to have one, isn't it? So Mr. Sholmes' partner is your father. Exactly. Hurley told me I wasn't allowed to look in the chest, but that only made me want to look even more. So I opened it up. I found your father's memoirs. Yes, so I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell off his chair. But then he told me. That's when I found out that the author of all these accounts was my father. Harris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner. Practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So, it came as quite a shock. Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy. I mean, must have done. I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you. At such a young age. Hurley says it's because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me. Oh? Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say that his ways have rubbed off on me. There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost know when people are lying before they open their mouths sometimes. Right. Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That's what inspired me to write The Adventure of Herlock Sholmes, actually. I always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all those thrilling stories. Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything. As soon as he solved a case, it all but vanishes from his mind. I mean, I have no idea. No, what? That's weird. That no human being would work like that and forget things easily. Oh, I see. The other day it was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot about the case he'd just solved. So the very next day, he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. Okay, well that's pretty good actually. Quite a shock for everyone. You could say that again. You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris? That's right, Wilson. Daddy is Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from his diaries that he's a doctor of medicine, you say. That's what prompted me to study and study so that I could earn a doctorate as well. There's his father, who went to some distant land. The doctor by the name of John H. Wilson. What would I hear? Right. Visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. The man who, in the most bizarre of circumstances, lost his life just before he left Japan. Totally normal. Mr. Sato. Yes. Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at this time. I think that would be for the best. Your father's dead. We met with him briefly, interacted with him briefly, and we convicted your father's killer in court. So yeah. Ah, my dear fellows, how good to see you. Ah, you hear me? Eek! Mr. Sholmes. Wherever did you not make your presence known to me before? Oh my goodness. Well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you? We've been with you for most of the day. Goodness, really? See, at least I'm not that bad. Do tell me, Mr. Sholmes, is your violin unscathed? Hmm? My violin? Whatever are you talking about, dear madam? Oh, never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows! Oh, another music box disc. No, not another disc, Mr. Sato. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence. Mr. McGilden's disc. Oh my. Then, what's it doing here? You know, at times, Mr. Naruhodo, I think that though I have an undeniable turn for detection, I may well be even more adept at larceny. Oh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant. Bruno could be our go-to lawyer if we ever got caught. Right. Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting. She could write all our menacing crime notifications. Yes, I'd be delighted. Just going to pretend this conversation never happened, I think. Why doesn't it have blood on it? I don't understand. How did the disc come to be in your possession? I thought Inspector Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard. Wait, correct. That sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I always carry some of this. That's a bar of caramel, Mr. Sholmes. One and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken. You will humor me, my dear fellows. Cast your minds back to when the good detective confiscated the disc. For the briefest of moments, I had the disc in my hand, did I not? Yes, you did, but I still don't understand. It was at precisely that moment that I summoned my one and only friend into action. I pressed the disc into a pair of bars like this. That's amazing. The disc and all the minuscule protrusions have made an image in the caramel. Indeed, this caramel is quite exceptional. I developed it myself, you know. Suitably soft for making impressions, but resistant to melting, the result of a precisely controlled solution. How extraordinary. Carrying a pair of these on one's person frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key, for example. A simple press in its unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will, and never without high sucrose nourishment. Yes, it sounds illegal. From the image, I was able to create this. I confess I was most curious to know what manner of music would issue from the disc when played. Alright, what was it? Do tell us then, Mr. Sholmes. What music does the disc play? Well, unfortunately, I have no idea. No idea? None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box, my dear fellow? No, I'm afraid not. Goodness, you don't know, Bruno. How a music box works? I mean, I do, but that's fine. Inside a music box is a special metal piece called a comb. That's what produces the sound. Small protuberances pluck the different teeth of the comb as they rotate past it, making the different notes. The first music boxes to be invented used a rotating cylinder with protuberances on it. But over time, a new type of player was produced, which uses discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of music boxes spread far and wide, all around the globe. Why, exactly? Because the discs are easy to produce and can be interchanged to facilitate the playing of different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now manufacturing music boxes as a result. It is wonderful to be able to enjoy music, even when no performer is present. But it is the very success of the invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem. What do you mean? As you may imagine, the construction of one firm's music box does not match that of another's, and we have no way of knowing in which music box this particular disc was designed to be played. There is no resolution to this problem, I'm afraid. It's quite intraceable. Ah, I see. So that's why. Naturally, I tested this disc on these few music boxes I have at my disposal. But as you can hear, to no avail. The results were equally unsatisfactory in this one. So, I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made in Europe. Every single one. It's early for you, always taking things too far. But my dear girl, an unsolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution. But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge volume of music boxes, won't it? Yes, that is certainly true. Worst case, I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic room. What? No, nah, just kidding. No, man was serious. Magnus McGilded, not a name I expected to hear again so soon. Yes, it's only been 2 months since that grisly case. Mr. McGilded perished within hours of the trial's conclusion. Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows, still now. The omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash, not a shred of evidence remained. And with the man's death, the truth about the murder in which he was so intimately involved was buried. Even though we successfully established Mr. McGilded's innocence in the trial, newspapers are still claiming that it remains an unsolved case. The murder of the brickmaker, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what really happened that night. And although Mr. McGilded was found not guilty through my defense, I still don't know if that was the right judgment or not. It would appear the case is not yet closed. Well, it's time I started getting things ready for dinner, I think. Jimmy will be here before long. Thank you, Iris. Oh, well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie. There's plenty to do. I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now, where did I leave it? Your lesson to you, Mr. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with the pawnbroker. Yes, you may be right. That reminds me. Something Mr. Windybank said before. He said that he had a manuscript of Iris's in pawn, didn't he? Did he? Yes, he definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mysteries lies dormant in my storeroom, were his words, I believe. So you heard about that, did you? I expect you were as incensed as I was. Yes, the idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Windybank's storeroom, gathering dust. My dear madam, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it, more secure than a bank's vault. What about your Stradivarius, Hurley? Was that safe and secure? Well, there may be the occasional mix-up, caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far from me now. Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that Bakerville story, Hurley? The Baskerville. Oh, it sounds so exciting! The Hound of the Baskervilles? I should love to read it. Yeah, she didn't say the hound part. Ah! What's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room? Susie, what did you just say? You said the Hound of the Baskervilles. But how could you know the full title? Well, that's because Miss Susato is such a great fan of all the stories about Mr. Sholmes, of course. But Bruno, the Hound of the Baskervilles, has never been published. What? When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it yet. I don't understand. That's why he said that he'd keep it safe. Well, it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see. That's why the manuscript is at Windybank's. And yet, how could Susie here know its title? Well, Hurley, what's going on? What is it, Mr. Sholmes? It would appear our guest has arrived. From the direction that's not where the door is. Miss Lestrade! This is a bad idea. I knew I weren't welcome. I'm going. Well? No, wait, Miss Lestrade! We've all been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris? Oh yes, just wait there, Jimmy. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Definitely part of our theme. Come along, Susie. Right, of course. It's a pleasure to see you here, Miss Lestrade. Please, make yourself at home. Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. Is that the door in the... Okay, whatever. What say you to some Mendelsohn? I won't take no for an answer. Mendelsohn it is, then. Kitty! That evening, Iris prepared us all a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes' violin performance was in no way meddlesome, and Gina, as we came to call her, taught us how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves, well into the night. I'm glad they have a fun night, because nothing bad is going to happen right after this, right? 15th April, 9:30 to 4 p.m., Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. It was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it? Oh yes, Iris's cooking was truly divine. I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Sholmes' violin even now. Best of all, I bet I could steal the glasses from his lordship's face next time we're in court. Please, do not try. Now, if you want to steal Van Zeek's goblet or wine, definitely try that. Naruhodo-san, could I consult with you about something, I wonder? What's the matter, Susato-san? It's about the telegram I received. Ah, one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose. I've been summoned. What? Summoned? What do you mean? The telegram is from the Lord Chief Justice's office. Lord Strongheart has asked to see me. The Lord Chief Justice? When? Tomorrow morning. What? Then we have to start preparing at once. Oh no, that won't be necessary, Naruhodo-san. I've been summoned alone. Alone? What on earth for? Yeah, why would he summon the legal counsel of somebody? No idea. Suppose I shall find out tomorrow. What's all this about? Whatever it is, it's making me feel very uneasy. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, who could that be, I wonder? Good evening, friends. Ah, Iris. Hello again. And Gina, too. Yes, Ginny's going to stay with us tonight. She's going to sleep in with me. Isn't that right, Ginny? Well, yeah. How lovely. Let me make a pot of tea. You know, I've learned so much today. Oh? What? In particular? All those things Ginny showed us. Wasn't it wonderful? Ah, you mean all those pickpocketing techniques. We had fun trying them out on each other, didn't we? Think I've awakened a natural talent. I could earn a living from it. You might be getting ahead of yourself a little there. So, what brings you up to our humble quarters at this late hour? Well, you see, I came to return this. What? That's mine! Oh my, however did you? I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it. Oh, yes, I'd forgotten. Iris literally is a child genius. So anyway, here, you can have it back. Not that I really understand why you wear it, though. Ah, thank you. Alright then, good night. Yes, good night. So this is your office, is it? Have you never been up? What do you think, Ginny? Think I wouldn't fancy my chances with a lawyer what lives in a place like this? Yes, me too. Seems as though Iris here still has something she'd like to talk about. Suppose she probably wants to talk about the manuscript. Yes, suppose she probably does. Yeah, I mean, you did kinda... No psychological abuse? No. Iris, I suppose you're hoping to talk about the manuscript, aren't you? Aren't you going to tell me? I'm so sorry. I need a little more time, please. Alright, I understand. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward. Oh no, not at all, Iris. Not at all. I don't know what all this is about, really, but... It's a story you made up, is it, Iris? This mental script, or whatever you call it? It's not exactly a story that I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries. Daddy's? That's right. I don't suppose I've mentioned it to you before, Ginny, but... My daddy was Hurley's assistant once. His partner. Solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases together. Is that right, mister? So, I was as surprised as you are, though. Daddy wrote all the details of every single case down, you see, in his diaries. So I study them and write my stories based on what actually happened. So, where's your old man now, then? He didn't die in Japan. He's had to go away on urgent business to a faraway land. He'll be gone a very long time. So I've never really met him. Oh, right. Think of it. I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Perhaps we should ask her. I don't know if she's as much an open book as Iris is. Iris, this Hounds of the Baskerville story. You get that it's another tale inspired by your father's accounts. I mean, she did just say it, but... That's right. I thought it was fascinating. It's different somehow from the other cases, I mean. Oh? How? I don't really know, but it must be special in some way. It's after I'd written it, and I showed the manuscript to Hurley, it turned as white as a sheet. It's the first time I've ever seen him like that. Oh wait, no. We haven't heard this before. It pains me to say this after you toiled over it for so long, Iris. But this story must not be published at this time, under any circumstances. Why not? It's one of my best works. I'm not at liberty to say. Now, so please, do not ask me. Alright then, I won't. But I do solemnly swear that I will explain everything one day, Iris, when the time is right. That's how the manuscript came to be with Mr. Windybank, isn't it? Yes. Probably said it had to be somewhere very safe. Everything gets my goat, that does. He's treating me like a child. It's mean, that's what it is. Keeps a secret like that. Sure, Mr. Sholmes isn't trying to be mean. He said he wasn't at liberty to talk about it. I'm sure there must have been a very good reason. I think so, too. You lot are too trusting for your own good. But you can't pull the wool over my eyes. Sholmes is lying to Iris. I bet my life on it. What? Hurley's lying to me? Well, guess that's the end of the conversation. Hey, it's about what you said. I realized that I don't know anything about your parents, Gina. I ain't got any, have I? Never did have. Oh. Look, the East End's full of orphans like me. No one wants nothing to do with us from the minute we're born, not even our moms. We all stick together. The older ones look after the little ones and make sure they get by. That's why you're a pickpocket. Heaven's my life. I love it. Get a kick out of it every time I lift some pompous idiot's purse. I just like stealing. Fuck yeah, crime. That's how well we all afford to eat. I'm like Robin Hood, ain't I? That's how I see it. Tina. I do think about it sometimes. What it'd be like to have parents, I mean. I always thought it'd make everything right. You haven't listened to what Iris just said? Sounds like having parents ain't always easy either. Oh. I mean, if you know you never had them, you don't feel like you're always wanting to meet them. It's true. I do want to see Daddy so much. Oh, Iris. Yeah, not great. Gina, what did he mean when he says that you know Mr. Sholmes is lying to Iris? Well, he reckons he popped that manuscript or whatever, right? Well, come on, that's obviously a load of rubbish. Oh my, why would you think that, Gina? It's simple. That story was really in old Windybank storeroom. There's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. But we would never do something like that. Sure of it. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, a lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling you, that mantle script ain't at Windy Banks. You'd soon see it if you had a look. Even if you think you can trust him, I don't. That Sholmes is a liar like the rest of them. If I'm honest, I've wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. See? Oh, but I don't mean that I think he sold it. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere. Somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris. Well, wherever he hid it, clearly it was found. Oh my goodness, look at the time. Come along, Ginny. We should go back downstairs. Yeah, alright. And please, don't mention any of this to Hurley, will you? No, of course not. Good night then, Iris. Good night, Gina. You must let me make breakfast for you tomorrow morning. I insist. Oh, yes, please. I can't wait, Susie. Good night then. Iris. It's easy to forget, isn't it? Sometimes she speaks just like an adult, but deep down, she's still just a child. Well, I think it's time that I turned in for the night too, Naruhodo-san. Dr. John H. Wilson, Iris' father. Also, the name of the murdered visiting professor at Yuma University. Can't be a mere coincidence. Something deeper going on. Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know. I don't know if this is the logical ending point at this point. I'll keep an eye out for one. My back is hurting, but I think I can go on longer. I feel like when I do the voices, I have a habit of leaning forward, where I shouldn't. What I should do is either move the chair forward or move the mic back. But I have a bad habit of shrimping, which I don't normally do in my day-to-day life. I don't normally shrimp, but apparently, every now and again, that voice, that's Mr. Sholmes. The single chair that I have one chair. It's a chair. It sure is a chair. It's a black mesh office chair. It's the same one I've been using since I bought it. It's the same one we had back at the other place. What's going on? It's the middle of the night. It's Mr. Strad. She's gone. Gina. She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris' room, but her bed is empty. Well, she's an independent young woman. She probably decided to go home, no? I think not. I'm speaking to her before she retired. I received the distinct impression that she was looking forward to breakfasting with Miss Susato. Now, I don't believe the girl has gone home, but I've been waiting for over an hour now. An hour? Oh. You'll indulge me. Look out of the window, my dear fellow. What's this about? Honestly, if I were to end early tonight, it would be pretty exclusively because I am hungry, and I don't know why. I ate at the usual time today, and I had food, but I'm just... I don't know why. Wait a minute. Why is there a light on at this time of night? That's Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery. Mr. Windybank's. Oh no. Go back. Gina gone. Seems to have some knowledge of the situation, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry. Oh, no, not really. Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once. Miss Susato. Its April, 1:14 a.m., Baker Street. The door to Windybanks is open, and the lamp is burning. Must be Gina, mustn't it? Let us hope it is nothing more sinister. What? There's not a moment to lose. Clearly something is afoot inside. I truly don't know how all these plot points are going to intersect. Like, we have Mr. McGilded and the weirdness surrounding his whole thing, which has been a thing since the end of his case. We have the father and the manuscripts clearly tied together in some way. That something in the Hound is different or shows something that can't be shown yet, even though it's a tale from way back when. And we have Susato being summoned in the morning without Naruhodo. Like, there's just so many little things right now. Mind you, this is a duology, but like, this is also the last case of this game. I'm wondering if they're gonna, if everything will continue. Oh, what's it? There's no one here. Oh yes, there is. Oh. Oh, Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! What the? Has Sholmes been shot? Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo. After them, go! Wait. Blast! I've lost them. Hello, hello, what have we here? The alarm was just raised from this pawnbroker, sir. Would you know something about that? Officer, come with me! It's my friend, Mr. Sholmes. He's been shot! Shot? With the policeman close behind me, I ran back to Windybanks. I have to hope he was wearing some sort of technological device or bulletproof vest, or is just
Mr. Sholmes!
too powerful to die to a bullet.
How bad is it? Never mind me, but there's much at stake. Behind that door.
Because they didn't want to show blood. We don't know where he's been shot.
Hurry!
Oh, also not great. They showed that blood. So maybe Sholmes isn't bleeding super bad.
It's Gina!
Oh, this looks not great. See, this, you want to talk about a solid end point for the night. It's there. That's the one. I think I'm going to end it a little early. I'm just hungry. I have no better excuse. I'm just really hungry. And I suppose I could sit here and eat on stream, which I've done before for longer streams. But, like, I also have work tomorrow. This is a logical ending point. I'm going to roll with it. It's a bit early. I have no better excuse. But yeah. Also, it's kind of fun to live on big cliffhangers. So, a bit of A, a bit of B, a bit of C. Mostly A. For now, we didn't even get to use the papers, but that means next week, hopefully we'll hit a court case. We'll be able to use the papers. They're ready. They're just going to chill here. Got them in reach, in sight, ready to go. But now we got ourselves a monster. There was no D. What's the D option? I said I was hungry. I said it was a logical ending point, and that that's about it, actually. I like the lazy, rude answer. Viper is lazy. Ah, yes. Sure. I'm lazy, and that's why I've decided to stream 6 nights a week for 8 years now. Is my inherent laziness. I see. Tell me more about this theory. Did I remember to start the bot? I did! Hey, monster. Quote. Hey, Discord. And, I mean, gotta be objection. I gotta see if I can get that other objection. He had one. The Mr. Windybanks had an objection. It was a whole day. I gotta see if I can find it regardless. Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. This has been Viper's Viperland. I'm gonna go get some food. Tomorrow's some Alan Wake. Alan Wake for the foreseeable future, except Friday, where I'll be off for Magic the Gathering. Week full of Alan Wake 2, Sunday this. That's what we got. That's what we're doing. That's how it's going.